Welcome to Love and Life, the podcast where we slow down, breathe deeply, and talk about the things we all feel, but don't always say out loud. I'm truly grateful to have you here. Whether you're listening on a quiet night, during a long drive, or just looking for something real, this space is for you. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been with us for a while, thank you for continuing this journey with me. Why do I feel so lonely? Chapter 1, A Quiet Kind of Empty. I used to think loneliness only came when you were physically alone. But over time, I've realized that the most painful kind of loneliness isn't about being without people. It's about being surrounded and still feeling invisible. There were nights I'd be sitting in a room full of familiar faces, smiling, nodding, pretending to listen, while a quiet emptiness grew inside me. Everyone seemed connected. They laughed, talked over each other, shared stories, and yet none of it reached me. I was there, but not really. I think that's what many of us are going through. We're not isolated in the literal sense. We reply to messages, we attend gatherings, we scroll and like and comment. But deep down, we feel like no one really knows us, not because we're unlovable, but because we've been hiding. We've learned to only show certain parts of ourselves, the ones that are acceptable, lighthearted, unproblematic. The deeper things, the parts that ache, that question, that long, we keep those buried, either because we're scared of being judged or because past attempts at openness left us feeling worse. Sometimes, loneliness isn't about missing other people. It's about missing yourself. You forget when it started. Maybe it was after a heartbreak. Maybe after you moved to a new city. Maybe it's just been a slow drift. The kind you don't notice until one day you look around and realize you don't feel connected to anyone. Not really. The conversations are shallow. The laughter doesn't land. The moments pass, and you're left wondering if it's just you. It's not. So many of us are lonely, but we carry it like a secret shame. We're taught that if we're lonely, something must be wrong with us. That we're not interesting enough, not confident enough, that if we were better, smarter, funnier, people would stay. But that's a lie the world sells. The truth is, loneliness is part of being human, and feeling it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're aware. It means your heart still longs for something deeper. The worst thing about this kind of loneliness is that it makes you question your worth. You start pulling away, even from people who care. You convince yourself they wouldn't understand anyway. And slowly, you build a quiet wall around yourself. Not because you want to, but because it feels safer that way. But safety and connection don't always live in the same room. Chapter 2, The Things We Never Say. It's strange how the things we need the most are often the hardest to ask for. Most people don't go around saying, "I'm lonely," even when they are. Not because they want to lie, but because saying it out loud makes it feel more real. And real can be painful. Many of us grew up learning that showing too much emotion was a weakness. Maybe we were told to toughen up or to stop overthinking. Maybe we opened up once and got laughed at or ignored or made to feel dramatic. So, over time, we learned to keep quiet. We learned to hold everything in and act like we were fine. But pretending to be okay doesn't make the ache go away. It just buries it deeper. And the longer we carry it, the heavier it becomes. We go through our days doing what's expected, talking about work, weather, news, social media, anything but what's really going on inside. And the result is this silent distance between people, even those who seem close. Loneliness thrives in that silence. It grows in the spaces where we don't feel safe enough to be honest. When you spend too long not being fully seen, you start to believe that maybe no one can see you, that maybe something about you is just too much or not enough. And once that belief takes root, it's hard to reach out. You stop sharing. You stop initiating. You start shrinking in conversations. You smile and nod, but you're not really there. The worst part? No one notices. Because the world often rewards the appearance of being fine. It praises the person who keeps going no matter what, who doesn't complain, who doesn't ask for help. And slowly, you start to forget how to ask for anything at all. But just because you've learned to hide your loneliness doesn't mean it has to stay that way forever. The truth is, healing starts with honesty. Not dramatic confessions or public vulnerability, just the simple act of telling yourself the truth, admitting that you miss being truly known, that you're tired of surface-level conversations, that you want to connect, not just exist next to people. And that honesty, as small as it might feel, is the beginning of something real.
Chapter 3. Learning to Reach Again. Connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. Brené Brown, Daring Greatly. Sometimes, the hardest thing is not being alone. It's trying again. Reaching out after silence. Trusting someone after disappointment. Believing that this time, maybe, it will be different. When you've spent enough time sitting with your own loneliness, it becomes familiar. You build routines around it. You keep yourself busy, create noise, fill your schedule. It becomes easier to say, "I'm fine," than to explain how hollow things have felt. And after a while, the idea of reaching out starts to feel more uncomfortable than the ache of being disconnected. But here's the truth. Connection doesn't return on its own. It has to be invited back in. And that starts with courage. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet kind that says, "I'll try." Sometimes it looks like texting someone first. Sometimes it's asking a deeper question instead of staying on the surface. Sometimes it's simply staying present when you want to pull away. You won't always get it right. Not everyone will respond the way you hope. Some people will stay surface level. Some won't notice your effort. But that doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. Every time you show up as your real self, you strengthen a muscle inside you. The part that chooses truth over comfort, sincerity over performance. And as that grows, the loneliness starts to shift, not disappear entirely, but soften. Because now you're showing up. You're no longer just waiting to be found. You're learning how to be seen. You begin to understand that connection isn't about having dozens of people around. It's about being truly known by even just one. It's about that one conversation where you finally exhale and say, "Yeah, me too." That one friend who lets you be messy and real without fixing you. That moment where someone looks you in the eye and stays. These are the small moments that heal us. And before you can have them with others, you have to start having them with yourself. No more pretending you're too independent to care. No more shaming yourself for wanting closeness. You're human. Of course you need connection. The important thing is that now you know it, and you're doing something about it. You're showing up, not as who you think people want you to be, but as who you really are. Quiet, software, honest, whole. That's enough. That's more than enough. From Love and Life with Warmth. Thank you for being here with me today. If this episode found you at the right moment, I hope you know you're not alone in what you feel. We all carry something, and we all deserve spaces where we can put that weight down. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might need it too. Take care of your heart. Be kind to yourself. And I'll see you in the next episode.